Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Knit California podcast. My name is Leslie. I'm Knit California here on YouTube and also over on Instagram and TikTok. And today I've got episode 4 for you from my 2024 podcast series. I'm coming to you about a day late. I'm filming this. Today is Monday, February 5th. Typically I film on Sundays. The video comes out on Mondays, but I had a busy weekend. I was up in LA with my family, so I wasn't able to film on Sunday. So we're filming today on Monday. And the video should come out Tuesday, February 6th. So I want to say a big thank you from last week's episode. I was a little bit under the weather, and a lot of people in the comments were giving me well wishes to feel better. So thank you guys so much. I am feeling a little bit better. I think I still have a little bit of whatever it is going on, but definitely like almost 100%. Knitting. I've made some progress on most of my WIPs. I did not complete every single goal that I had for myself this week. Okay, so let me show you what we're working with here. You can see a couple of these got checked off. This is 3 out of 6, so I got halfway through. Plus, I've made progress on some of the other ones that I did not fully finish. So we're just gonna talk through most of these. I might not show you all of them, but we're gonna play it by ear and just go with what I'm feeling in the moment. But let's start with my first project, the Kal Cardigan. So I'm knitting the Kal Cardigan by Claire Jackson. She's at Perfectly Knotted on Instagram. And the yarn that I'm using is this beautiful colorway from Bella Filato Studios. It's called Cozy Flannel on her Bella worsted base. It's 100% superwash merino, and you can see all the pinks and reds. There's some dark speckles, some oranges, and I absolutely love this color. Actually, so I have used this color once before a few years ago on the second out of 2 pair of socks that I ever knit, and I'm actually wearing them today. So here's what they look like knit up on sock form, and here's the cardigan. Anyways, I'm excited to wear these all together. I know that was probably a weird look at my foot, but let's talk about the cardigan now, and I'll show you. So my goal for this week was sleeve number 1. I just wrote sleeve 1, whether that was casting it on, getting halfway through, getting all the way through. So completed that in the sense that I did cast it on, and I got a lot of it complete. I know I'm not 100% of the way there. I'm sorry, I'm very tangled up right now in my ends, the yarn ball. I've got a bunch of stretchy cords going all over the place. And here we go. So this is a good majority of sleeve number 1, the right sleeve. You can see I placed my hot air balloon progress keeper at the very beginning of the sleeve, and so this is how much progress I was able to make over this last week. I actually did almost all of this on Saturday. I think I picked up the stitches for the sleeve Friday night, did a few rows, and then knit almost the rest of this on Saturday while reading Crescent City 3. So no spoilers. At this point I'm about halfway through, loving it. It's very complicated, but loving it. And made a lot of progress on the sleeve. So I'm not wearing the appropriate attire to try this on for you, but I know that I'm not far enough yet. I have a habit of knitting my sleeves too short, so what I've done is I think I have completed all of the decreases, and according to my notes for what I did on the last cardigan, I should be ready to start the ribbing. But I put the sleeves on a stretchy cord. I'm using a twice sheared sheep cable lock to hold my stretchy cord in place so it doesn't fall off, so I don't lose my stitches. And I'm gonna go and pick up for sleeve number 2 next, knit it the exact same way, and then put it on hold also. And then I'm going to finish more of the body, because you can see I just stopped the body a couple of inches down from after I joined in the round. My thought is that once I have the rest of the garment complete, the body complete, and the other sleeve, it will give me a better idea of how the sleeves are actually going to fit, so I know how long I want them to be. In the last sweater that I completed, the stick season sweater, I knit the whole first sleeve, I tried it on, and I was like, okay, I need to knit, you know, this much more or whatever. I knit that much more. And then I knit the whole second sleeve and tried it on again, and it was not the same length. So it was like I had knit all of it, but because I had only knit one sleeve and I was trying it on, the whole garment was like skewed to the left. It made it seem like the sleeve was longer than it was. So when both were knit and it was more even, you know, it pulled back and it wasn't as long as I thought it was. So I do not want to make that same mistake again. I am taking more care this year in knitting my sleeves the length that I want them to be the first time, not rushing. So that's what we're doing. But I'm really happy with the progress on this so far. Again, like I said, it's looking really good. I kind of have this thought that it would be really nice to wear this the week of Valentine's Day, which is 9 days away next week. I don't think I'll be able to get this done before that, but it was a nice thought at this point. So anyways, that's where we're at with my Kal cardigan. The goal for next week, for this week that we're currently in, will be the second sleeve, get it to the same point as the first sleeve, and then we'll continue on with the body the week after. So, yay for that. And the next sweater that I want to talk to you about is my Ingrid sweater. But before we get into that, I want to say a huge thank you to the sponsor of today's podcast, Pair Eyewear. Thank you to Pair Eyewear for sponsoring today's video. I've been wearing glasses since high school, so I was so excited when Pair Eyewear reached out to me about this collaboration. Pair is a revolutionary eyewear brand that is changing how the world wears glasses, offering high quality, affordable, and customizable prescription and blue light glasses. They have frame styles for everyone. Their magnetic top frames grant you the amazing ability to change your eyewear and therefore your style whenever you want. The ordering process was so easy. My favorite part was the virtual try-on option, so I could see in real time what each base would look like on me. Then I was able to choose my base frames, upload my prescription, and choose my favorite top frames. I love the ability to customize my look, especially to match my favorite sweater of the day. Base frames start at a super affordable price of $60, which compared to all the designer frames at the ophthalmologist's office is truly a steal. I picked out the clear Harper frames, which I love for everyday wear and professional wear. These are very easy to wear to work. But when I'm ready to have a little bit more fun, I can swap to hot pink. Aren't these amazing? Hold on, you guys. Do you see this? Okay, I'm obsessed with this look. Another one of the top frames that I picked out are tortoiseshell, which go so perfect with this hat that I have. This is every knitter's dream, you guys, being able to match your glasses to your knitwear. And you all know that I live in sunny Southern California, so when I'm ready to go outside, I just pop on my black sun tops and I'm ready to go. If you want to try a pair out for yourself, click the link in the description box below for 15% off your first pair. The discount code will apply to base frame purchases for new customers only. Once you try a pair on, you'll never see eyewear the same way again. Thank you again to Pair for sponsoring today's video, and now let's get back to the podcast. Okay, let's get into the Ingrid sweater. There are still a ton of ends that I need to weave on this, but I am knitting up, let me put them inside. I hate when they're out and you can see them. So I'm knitting up the Ingrid sweater by Petite Knit, and the yarn that I'm using is Treehouse Knits. The color is Harvest Moon on her Dove DK base. And again, this is a 100% superwash merino yarn. It's this lovely purple, like with gray undertones, lavender color. I do have to say too, I am now an affiliate with Treehouse Knits. I'm so excited. This yarn was from her fall autumn tonals. I did purchase this, but coming up soon, this next weekend, she is releasing her winter tonals. So I will have an affiliate link to shop that collection if you're interested. It'll be in the description box down below. I'll also be posting about it on my Instagram stories, so if you want to see more. I did purchase, did I just say this? I did purchase this sweater quantity. But you will likely be seeing more Treehouse yarns from me on the podcast now that I am going to be working with Lauren, and I'm very excited about it. But back to my Ingrid sweater. It looks so good. Gotta take a picture for the thumbnail. Okay, my goal for this week was to complete the front panel and join it in the round. And I have done so. Can you see? I guess I should show you. Oh, I've got like 2 rows. I think I did 2 rows here connected. I tried it on. Again, I'm not wearing... next week I will wear an appropriate shirt so that you can see all of my projects tried on. But it's looking so good. This 2x2 rib section does pull in a bit, and it is on a bit of a shorter cord. Yeah, this is a 22-inch cord, so 24 inches versus like a 30 or something. But just look at it. Okay, this is where I was last week's podcast. So I basically did all this 2x2 rib section on the front and joined it in the round. I had done all of the back before, but I will say I mentioned this on last week's podcast. So the yarn that I'm using is a DK weight. The pattern does call for a DK plus a mohair for more of a worsted weight, but I was able to get gauge, which is 20 stitches per 4 inches, with my DK weight yarn using 4.5mm needles. So that is what I have gone with. I'm using the women's Ingrid sweater pattern, not the men's pattern. I did originally think about using the men's pattern because it does call for DK weight. At least that's what it says on Ravelry, but the yarn that Petite Knit uses for the men's pattern is the Sandnes Garn Peer Gint, which is more of a heavy DK weight. It leans a little bit more towards worsted. So really it calls for worsted for both, but I was able to meet gauge with DK, so I'm using DK. And I'm happy about it because for me, I think worsted weight is good and fine for a cardigan. I don't know how wearable a DK weight pullover sweater is going to be for me here in Southern California. I think it's just going to be a little bit too warm. That being said, I do have some sweater quantities in my stash, and in the future I may be making DK or worsted weight sweaters, so we'll see. But I am happy that I'm using the DK weight. I think it will be more wearable, a little bit lighter compared to if I was using a worsted weight. Let me give you the stats on this. So I'm knitting the size extra large. that corresponds to about a 50.5 inch circumference. It's designed. The pattern is designed to have about 8 inches of positive ease, and it will have 8 inches of positive ease if I meet that exact circumference. We'll always see how that goes. And then for the eyelet rows, I did change how I knit the eyelet rows. I didn't like the way they were written in the pattern, and so I just changed it to a yarn over and then a knit two together. And so if that is also the way that you prefer to knit eyelet rows, then they look fine. They look exactly the same. I think they look great. I'm not worried about it. So that's where we're at with the Ingrid sweater. This is one of the patterns on my Make 9. This has been on my like to knit list since the pattern came out in mid 2022. So I'm just so happy that I'm knitting on this, and every time I pull it out to work on it, I'm like, I love it so much. So for this week, I think I might pick up the neckline and do the neckband, and maybe just do like one more section on the body. Yeah, I think that's what we'll do. I need to decide for the neckband. I think I'm just gonna do a 1x1 rib, maybe folded collar. I don't think I want to do the like double collar that's in the pattern where it's like 2x2 rib and then 1x1 rib. I don't necessarily need a collar that goes that high, so I think I'm just gonna do a 1x1 rib folded over collar. So I love it so much. It's so pretty. Okay, let me move my progress keeper. On my Kal Cardigan, I already have a progress keeper at the beginning of the sleeve, so I didn't need to move it, but let's move this one. There we go. So now we know where the progress is going to be for this week. So that is my Ingrid sweater. Next up on the list, I want to talk to you about my Oslo hat. Okay, so I am knitting up the Oslo Hat by Petite Knit. Yes, I have knit up like 8 or 10 of these so far in my knitting career the last couple of years, and I've got another one on the needles. So here it is. The yarn that I'm using, I pasted the info in my journal. So the yarn that I'm using is Paisley Knits. The colorway is Poseidon on her Crabby DK base, which is a 100% superwash merino wool. I am knitting this up a little bit differently than some of my past Oslo hats that I've made. Let me show you, actually. So here's my little progress keeper. This is how much progress I made this week. My goal was to get halfway through the brim. And so the brim measures about 10 inches. So I wanted to get about 5 inches done. And I'm using this new tool to me. Show you. It is the Twice Sheared Sheep Work Until measuring tape, and it acts very similar to a row counter in the way that you just slide it onto your work, just like you would a stitch marker or a progress keeper. And then it has a measuring tape, both in centimeters and in inches. And the quick and dirty is you set the marker to right at the measurement that you want to knit until. So for example, I wanted to knit 4 more inches from where I was previously. Actually, what was it? 4 inches from the cast on edge. That was where I was setting it from. So 4 inches from the cast on edge, and once you knit that, you'll see that the edge of your work, or if you were starting from just like a random spot, you put a stitch marker in there. Once that point hits the top of your measuring tape, you know that you've made it. You've knit that amount. You have knit the 4 inches. So I was testing it out. I'm really liking it so far. It is kind of long. You have to kind of get used to it being there, but I'm very used to working with row counters, so I didn't have any issues in terms of it like getting in my way and being annoying or something like that. Again, I have an affiliate link with Twice Sheared Cheap. I've been working with them for about 2 years now, so if you're interested in trying one of these out for yourself, you can click the link in the description box down below. Okay. I said that I'm knitting this a little bit differently than I normally do, and let me tell you why. That's because I'm using a DK weight yarn instead of what I typically use is a fingering weight yarn held double. What that means is, well, I like to use a fingering weight yarn held double because I think it gives a more dense fabric that is really nice for a hat. In using a DK weight yarn, just held single, I needed to go down a needle size to make sure the fabric and the density and the material was kind of similar to what I normally get for a fingering weight yarn held double. So I went down to a 3.5 millimeter needle. I typically use, well, in the past I have used a 4 millimeter needle. The ones that I made this holiday season for my whole family, I used a 3.75 millimeter needle. So for this one, I'm using a 3.5 millimeter needle. And I am really liking the fabric. So we'll see how it feels once I fold the brim and it gets folded up. I hope that it will like stay in that folded position. That's the true test. And actually, hold on. My husband has been wearing his Oslo hat that I knit for him last year. And this was the first one that I knit in a DK weight held single. And so let me kind of just show you. This is what happens. See, it's not very like sturdy. Like the brim doesn't stay up on its own. And it's because the fabric, the gauge of it, the density of it is just not very tight. I think I actually knit this on a 4 millimeter needle, and it's large. Like, yes, this fits on his head, but like, it's extremely large. It looks ridiculous on me. So I know that this 3.5 millimeter will be better. But yeah, this is what I've been talking about for the last couple of weeks. It just doesn't really stay up. And it doesn't really look good. And it's too big. Although I will say, like, when he wears it, his head is obviously bigger than mine. It looks fine. And it stays up for the most part when he's wearing it. But when it's not on his head, it just flops around and doesn't do what it's supposed to do. So, that's the Oslo hat and why I'm so worried about the density of this fabric, especially because this one is going to be for a friend. So I want to make sure that it's good. So that's my Oslo hat. The goal for this week, we're going to say, is going to be to finish the brim and fold it up. I've got, let's see, I am tracking way too many things on this hat. I've got my progress keeper from where I was last week, which we will move right now to my last stitch here. There we go. I am also tracking just the number of rows with my little yellow stitch markers, so 20, 40 rows, just to make sure that my measuring tape measurements are as accurate as my gauge and row count. Should be fine, it's just the brim of a hat, but you know, as I'm testing this, I want to make sure that the measurements are accurate. So that's what we've got going on here. My Oslo hat by Petite Knit. The next project I want to show you, this will be a little bit quicker, is the Farnham Sweater by the Knit Pearl Girl. Okay, so I'm knitting up the Farnham Sweater by the Knit Pearl Girl. Here's where it is, and let me tell you, the yarn that I'm using is Dusty Yarn Co. And the colors that I'm using, the purple one is called Shook, and the cream is called Baby Beach. Both of these are on their classic alpaca sport base, which is a 100% baby alpaca yarn, 3-ply, and it's 291 yards per 100 grams. I love these colors so much. They're so pretty. Okay, and I did not make a ton of progress on this. My goal was to finish the back panel, and you can see here's the progress from where I was last time. I literally only did like 4 or 5 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I did 6 rows. I didn't have as much time to knit this week, and I was working on all those other things, so that's okay. My goal for this coming week will be to continue the same goal, finish the back panel, and we'll go from there. But I just wanted to give you the little bit of update, give this a little bit of screen time, because I love how these stripes are working out. And yeah, I'll give you the quick stats of this in case you're interested. So I'm knitting the size G, which corresponds with a 57.25 inch bust. However, because I'm using a sport weight yarn, the pattern recommends a DK weight yarn, my gauge is a little bit smaller, so I did go up a pattern size. I'm expecting, based on my current gauge, that the final circumference will be closer to a 52 inch bust, which would be about 10 inches of positive ease for me. I'm using 4 millimeters on the body, and I will use 3 millimeters on the ribbing. And yeah, that's it. I love it. So quick and easy. This pattern is also on my Make 9. I have been wanting to make this since it came out, and since I have seen people wear this in person now, I absolutely love it. So that is my Farnham sweater. Okay, and the last project that I'm going to talk to you about is my field day cardigan. This was the project, if you watched last week's episode, that I had to show you in black and white, and I'm very excited to say that today I do not have to show you in black and white anymore. So I was keeping it in my Taylor Swift themed bag because the yarn is Taylor Swift themed. It's from Ruby and Roses. Her new collection is Taylor Swift themed. It's going to be launching February 10th. Again, I am also an affiliate with Ruby and Roses, so 3 of these skeins that I got were gifted to me for being an affiliate. 3 of the skeins I bought because I wanted to make a cardigan and would need more yardage. But let me show you. This colorway that I got is called Willow. So it's based off the song from Taylor Swift's album Evermore. Side note, yesterday was the Grammys. Okay, if you're a Taylor Swift fan, you already know this, but Taylor won her 13th Grammy for pop. I think it was pop album of the year, pop song of the year. I can't remember. Anyway, she got on stage and she announced a brand new album that's going to be coming out April 19th called The Tortured Poets Department. And it was crazy. I'm still reeling. I'm sitting and I'm just like, I can't believe we're getting a brand new album. I can't believe we're getting a brand new album. I thought we were getting the announcement for Reputation, Taylor's version, along with like every other Swiftie on the internet. So very, very excited about it. Anyways, let's get back to this. This is let me take the yarn band off so that you can actually see these colorways. This color I picked out because I loved all of the pinks and how it played with all of these other colors. You can see the green speckles. You can see there's a lot of yellow and gold in this colorway as well, and it's knitting up really, really nicely. The base that I picked was this Rose DK base. It's an 85-15 superwash merino nylon 4-ply 246 yards per 100 grams. And let me show you the start of this cardigan. So this is a pattern by Ozetta. You can see how the yarn is knitting up. Doesn't it look so good? It looks so pretty. I really like Addie's colorways, Ruby and Roses. They're variegated, but they have a lot of speckles in them, and I think the speckles just work really well to like even out all of the variegation. So it looks, I don't know, I just really like the way that her colorways work up. So last week I was here. I made all of this progress this week. I'm literally like 4 rows away from finishing my goal of finishing the back panel. I was hoping to get it done by today, but effectively we're there. But so for this next week, I'm going to finish the back panel and then pick up the shoulders, the left and the right shoulder, and go from there. But I want to talk to you also about the other colorways in this collection. I'll start popping them up on the screen in photos. This collection, I mean, I love Taylor Swift. I love all Taylor Swift collections, but this one is just really, really good. There are so many. It's a picture of Taylor and Celine Dion. Celine Dion announced Taylor also won Album of the Year, which is such a huge big deal, and Celine Dion announced her winning that last night. So anyways, this is a tangent. I'm very sorry. I'm just very excited about Taylor Swift. Okay, anyways, I had to get to the photos so that I could talk to you about these. I like that the way that Addie is doing this collection is it's not just like one color from one album. Some of them are based off of the entire album, some of them are based off songs, some of them are based off of lyrics in songs, and I think it's just gorgeous. There's also a mini set that's going to be coming out. At least she has announced one. There may be more. I don't know. I didn't know that this mini set was part of it. And the mini set is based off of New Romantics, a song from 1989. So it's just really, really fun. And one of my other favorite colorways that she has announced so far is the Reputation colorway. It's dark, but it's also extremely colorful. I think from afar it will give you that look of like a black colorway, but when you get up close to it, you can see the purples, the reds, the burgundies, the blues, the greens, which is really great. I think this color is going to be an amazing pullover or cardigan, definitely a really great garment colorway. And another one that she announced over the weekend is her Out of the Woods colorway, which is for all the blue and green girlies. And I love blue, but I don't like to wear it in garments as much because I normally wear my sweaters with blue jeans, and I feel like the blue on top, the blue on the bottom, they don't really go together. But I love this colorway, and especially the mohair. I think this mohair is so gorgeous. I want to hold the mohair with a fingering weight. I don't know for what. I haven't made any other plans, but I'm definitely going to be getting more from this collection, so I wanted to point that out to you. And then the latest colorway that she revealed is based off of the song Red, but it's called Blue Meets Red because there is a line in the song where she sings "Losing him was blue," and then there's more, and then she says "Loving him was red." So it's this blue meets red, and this is a really gorgeous like dark red burgundy with pinks, lighter pinks, and blue that almost translates purple. It's gorgeous. The swatch of this is so pretty. I can also see this in like a cardigan or a pullover or something. So there's a lot going on in this collection. The whole thing is not yet announced. There's more reveals coming up. There are going to be 13 colorways because 13 is Taylor's favorite and lucky number. And I'm sure there's going to be more extras that we don't even know about. So again, this collection launches on February 10th at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. I have an affiliate link for you to shop. It's in the description box down below, and I will also be posting about it in my Instagram stories. So if you're interested, make sure to go follow me over there so you don't miss out on everything that's going to be coming along with this because it's absolutely gorgeous. So if you're interested in willow, in these pinks and yellows and everything else in between, I swear, these, you gotta see it without the ball bands, the skein labels, so you can see all of these colorways. This is gonna be one of the colors for pre-order, again based on willow, and then all of those other ones that I just popped up on the screen as well. So I'm so excited. Okay. I think that's everything. I will say I did not show you my Sweet Shop blanket today. I did complete 1.5 squares, so I've got 2.5 squares left to go before I finish all of the pinks, the pink section, and I'm halfway done with my whole blanket. But I just felt like 1.5 squares was really not enough to show you today, so maybe I'll finish those this week and we can talk about the Sweet Shop blanket again next week. I can show you all of the half of it that's done. We'll see. My goal is going to continue to be to finish all 4 of those colorways by the end of this week. So that's where we're at with all of my projects. I feel like I've been thinking about this because we're into February now, and I was filling out my knitting journal for February, kind of looking at my queue coming up for this month, and I really don't have that many new projects that are like on the forefront of my mind that I really want to cast on. I feel like I have everything, most of everything that I've been wanting to cast on the needles right now, and I'm actually working through them. You've seen, you know, a lot of my projects I think are still at the beginning phases. My Kal Cardigan is definitely the furthest along. I think that will be the next garment that is off my needles, but I think I'm still a couple weeks away from that. And then my Ingrid Sweater is probably the next farthest along. The rest I still feel like are in the beginning stages. Actually, you know, my Oslo Hat could be done relatively soon, but that definitely doesn't take as much knitting as a full garment does, so that makes sense. But yeah, it's just an interesting spot to be in where I've got a lot of stuff on the needles and I'm feeling really content with everything that I have on the needles. In the past, like last year when I was knitting mostly one garment at a time, I felt like I always had this feeling of like, I want to cast on more, I want to cast on more, and I would hold myself back because I also wanted to like get things off my needles quickly and only have like one thing on the needles at a time, in terms of like one garment on the needles at a time. And so all of that to say, I'm really enjoying the way that I'm doing this right now, with doing these bite-sized chunks each week and being able to work on all these projects at one time. I know I've said it the last few episodes, but I'm really enjoying it. So that's it. What else is coming up? I mean, we've got some collection launches that I'm really excited about that I talked to you about, the Ruby and Roses on February 10th. The Treehouse Knits Winter Tonals also launching February 10th. That one is going to be at 12 p.m. Central Time. So again, make sure to follow along in my Instagram stories if you're interested in knowing exactly when those collections launch, because I will have links for you to shop for them. February is shaping up to be a really busy month for me, life-wise, just a lot of driving that I'm going to be doing, so I don't really know how many projects I will be finishing this month, how much knitting in general I will be able to get done, but of course I'm going to keep you updated in my weekly podcast episodes as best as I can. So make sure you're subscribed and following along, and that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching today's episode. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you on the next one. Bye!